It's 3 a.m. You're still awake. Your phone is glowing in the dark. You tell yourself you'll sleep soon, but somewhere in your skull, a very old alarm is going off, and it has nothing to do with your phone. The real answer is far stranger than tiredness. Your body isn't just tired right now, it's negotiating. Every cell in you is running on a rhythm older than your species. That rhythm doesn't care about deadlines. It doesn't care about Netflix. It only cares about one thing: survival. So what would actually happen if you never slept again? Not one bad night, forever. In 1964, a 17-year-old named Randy Gardner decided to find out, sort of by accident. He stayed awake for 11 days straight for a school science fair project. No drugs, no naps, just willpower and two friends keeping him from dozing off. Stanford sleep researcher William Dement monitored him for most of it. By day 4, Gardner was hallucinating. By day 9, he couldn't finish a sentence. His brain was still working, but it was working like a computer running out of memory. Here's the strange part. Gardner didn't die. He slept for 14 hours, woke up, and mostly recovered. So sleep deprivation is brutal, but survivable, at least for 11 days. That raises a bigger question. What is sleep actually for? Scientists spent most of the 20th century without a good answer. Nathaniel Kleitman, often called the father of modern sleep research, spent decades trying to solve it. In the 1950s, he and his student, Eugene Aserinsky, discovered something hiding inside sleep: rapid eye movement, or REM. It turned out your eyes dart around wildly while you're unconscious, as if you're watching something. You are. You're watching your own brain edit itself.
Think of your mind during the day as a house that keeps filling with paper. Notes, memories, stray thoughts, all piling up on every surface. Sleep is the only time anyone comes to sort it. Some papers get filed, some get thrown out, some get pinned to the wall because they matter. Without that nightly cleanup, the papers just keep piling higher. Nothing gets thrown away, nothing gets prioritized, everything just sits there, undigested. That's a metaphor, but it's close to literally true. Neuroscientist Matthew Walker has spent his career studying what happens inside a sleeping brain, and his research found something almost eerie. While you sleep, your brain physically shrinks its own cells by nearly 60%, just enough to let cerebral spinal fluid rush through and wash out toxic proteins that built up while you were awake. One of those proteins is called beta amyloid. It's the same protein linked to Alzheimer's disease. Your brain, every single night, is hosing down its own hallways so the buildup doesn't become permanent damage. Skip that wash cycle long enough, and the buildup doesn't reset. It accumulates. So now imagine humans who never slept at all. Not a species that needed less sleep, a species with none. What would that world look like? At first, maybe impressive. 24 extra hours a week. No bedtime, no lost mornings, civilizations building, thinking, working without pause. But the body doesn't get more efficient just because you remove the off switch. It gets more dangerous. Researchers at the University of Chicago ran a study in the 1980s using rats, led by Alan Rechtschaffen, that answered the darkest version of this question. The rats were kept completely awake indefinitely, using a rotating disc that forced movement the moment they tried to drift off. Within 2 to 3 weeks, every single rat died. Not from exhaustion in the way you'd expect. Their bodies stopped regulating temperature. Their immune systems collapsed. Their skin developed lesions that wouldn't heal. Sleep, it turns out, isn't rest. It's maintenance. Remove maintenance from any machine long enough, and the machine doesn't slow down, it breaks. Would a species without sleep ever have evolved into something like us in the first place? Almost certainly not. Sleep isn't a flaw evolution forgot to fix. It shows up in nearly every studied animal, from fruit flies to whales, which is strange when you think about it. Sleep is, biologically speaking, a terrible idea. An unconscious animal can't watch for predators. It can't eat. It can't reproduce. Evolution usually punishes vulnerability like that ruthlessly. And yet, sleep survived.
generation after generation, species after species, for over 500 million years. When something that costly survives that long, it isn't an accident. It's essential. Here's the twist most people never consider. Sleep isn't the body pausing. It's the body working a different shift. While you're unconscious, your immune system ramps up antibody production. Your hippocampus replays the day's memories, deciding what becomes permanent and what gets deleted. Your muscles repair micro-tears from the day before. None of that is passive. It's arguably more active, biologically, than the version of you scrolling through your phone right now. So if humans never slept, there would be no version of humans at all. Not smarter humans, not more productive humans, no humans. The species would have collapsed at the starting line, the same way Rex Schaffin's rats did, just slower, and on an evolutionary timescale instead of a 3-week one. Which brings the question back to you. At 3 a.m., still awake, still scrolling. You're not defying some outdated biological rule. You're running an ancient maintenance system on manual override, and the bill always comes due.
Every hour you steal from sleep isn't saved time. It's borrowed time, and your brain remembers exactly who it's owed to. Walker's research found something else worth sitting with. People who consistently sleep less than 6 hours a night show measurable memory decline within days, not years. Not dramatic decline, the kind you don't notice happening to you, the kind where you just start calling it getting older or being busy, when really it's your brain quietly asking for the maintenance window it never got. You weren't built to outsmart this system. Neither was Randy Gardner, who by day 10 of his experiment couldn't remember words mid-sentence, even though he insisted he felt fine. That's the unsettling part. Sleep deprivation doesn't feel like collapse from the inside. It feels like tiredness you can push through, right up until you can't. So the next time it's late and you tell yourself, just one more episode, one more scroll, one more hour, remember what's actually happening underneath. Your neurons are trying to shrink. Your fluid is trying to flush. Your memories are waiting to be filed. And somewhere in the deep evolutionary past, every ancestor who skipped that process for too long simply didn't pass it on to you. It's 3 a.m. You're still awake. But now you know what's actually keeping the lights on and what it's quietly costing you to keep them that way.